All right, everyone, welcome back to the Save Point podcast. I'm your host, Josh Taylor, and to my left, I have my younger brother, Sean, and to my right, I have my youngest brother, Chase. And today's episode is going to be all about E3, E3 predictions, a roundtable discussion on the games that we expect to see there, the games that are not going to be there, any big announcements that may or may not happen. E3 is definitely the time of the year when kind of the video game industry stops and just kind of, has their eye on LA and, what comes out of it. So it'll be a fun episode, but before we get into that, I just wanted to give you a reminder that if you do find this episode entertaining and informative, please subscribe at youtube.com/SavePointVids and then follow us on all the major platforms. If you want to listen to the audio-only version, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Pocket Cast. All you have to do is search Save Point Vids there, and you can find us on those platforms. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into it.
All right.
Who wants to go first? Anybody?
Sure, yeah, I'll start off. E3, it's, first off, Microsoft's the only one there. So I think they're going to have a big show. They're gonna throw all their cards on the table. My predictions are a little more tame. I do think they're gonna show the next Xbox. Some people don't think they are. They think it's still a little too soon. But with kind of Sony, quote unquote, like that leaked footage, which wasn't very leaked, they obviously wanted that out there. I think Microsoft's gonna end up showing their new console at the end of the show. How I'm thinking it's going to end, this is another, it's not prediction, because I think everybody kind of figures Fable 4 is going to be there. But I think they're going to either end with Fable 4 or end with the next Xbox.
So do you think that we'll actually get what information do you think we'll get about the next Xbox? Is it going to be a name, a price, a release date? Is it going to be just that it's... Because if you remember when they were talking about Scorpio, the Xbox One X, when they first showed that off at E3, they didn't even... if I remember correctly, they didn't even name it there. They just said, this is the next generation of Xbox, and then they used like a separate press conference, their own event, to
Yeah. I don't think they're going to show it off. I think they're just going to say, like, we have it, we have it here. Maybe a tech demo.
Okay.
But I don't think they're actually going to release any specs or anything. I think that's going to come down the line.
Okay.
I think for the most part, Microsoft's is just going to be about the games. And since it's 2 hours, there's going to be a lot of games. And we'll get into those, eventually.
All right, so for my first prediction, it's actually about Square Enix. So obviously, this is not the prediction, but the Final Fantasy VII Remake will be there. They will confirm a January 2020 release for Episode 1. If the rumors are true, it'll be released in 2 episodes, with the first one ending with the death of Aeris. And then,
Spoiler!
Yeah, spoiler alert for a 20-year-old game.
25-year-old
But yeah, that's part one of the prediction, is that it will have a January 2020 release date for Episode 1. But what it's going to happen is they're going to kick off the show with Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's going to have a blowout. They're going to talk about the gameplay systems. It's more action RPG, it looks like now. But they're going to go into a deep dive into the gameplay systems, any updates that they had to the 1997 game. After that, they are going to announce that there is a demo available right now where you can basically play the opening area, probably up till, what reactor was it? That first mission where...
5? Airbuster?
Airbuster, yeah. So
Reactor 5.
Reactor 5, so you can basically play that opening mission. That's what they've shown off so far. That's the only part of the game.
That was the very first thing they showed, right? It was like him fighting in the streets against the Shinra soldiers.
Yeah, so I think you'll be able to play that opening, probably 20-30 minute demo. It'll be released as soon as that press conference goes live. The middle part of the press conference is going to be all about Avengers. We're going to get a big blowout on the gameplay systems. It's already confirmed to be there, but maybe, if it's, and I don't think it would be, but if it's going to be in any way tied into the MCU, or if it's going to be, there is a rumor that I saw floating around that it could be in the same universe as the PS4 Spider-Man game. Not sure how true that is, but that's one theory that I saw floating around. If there's going to be any crossover there, so we'll have that. We'll have a lot of like smaller Japanese titles, maybe an updated or like Octopath Traveler sequel, something along those lines. But then the kicker at the end, Final Fantasy 16 is announced.
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to be that ballsy to say
because
that.
if you think about it, this is the longest that we have gone without a brand new Final Fantasy announcement. So even if you look at Final Fantasy 13, what was it called before it was Final Fantasy 15? It was 13
versus 13.
Versus 13.
Yeah.
So when they rebranded it as Final Fantasy 15, that was still in 2015 when that happened. So it's been at least 4 years since we've had a proper Final Fantasy announcement. And
Has it really been that long? Good lord.
It
doesn't feel like it's been that long.
I feel like it was longer in between versus 13 to 15. But
And so if that is the case, it'll be right around 4 years since we've had a proper next entry into the Final Fantasy franchise, not obviously including the remake. My guess is that, and I went back and looked at it, is that if you guys remember back in 2012, I think it was, or 2013, you guys remember that tech demo for Final Fantasy Agnes, where it was more.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It was the more fantasy based. Mm-hmm. It wasn't futuristic. It wasn't cyberpunk. It was more.
I don't recall this at all.
I just remember it faintly.
Was it like a?
It was a tech demo.
Or
It was a tech demo.
Yeah.
But it was more like
people in robes.
It was mages and knights. It was more like Final Fantasy 9. There was a lot of magic.
Like a mountainous, like Grand Canyon type environment.
I think that they'll bring that back, and that will be Final Fantasy 16.
I would like them to go back to like a fantasy medieval setting.
Yeah, they haven't since Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sad.
So, I mean, they got kind of close with 12, not really. It was like a half step. It was more.
Oh, that. Yeah, speaking of 12.
Yeah, it was in between.
I wouldn't mind seeing them set another Final Fantasy in Ivalice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. I could see that. But yeah, so that's how I predict that for their last, like, one more thing. It's not going to be anything substantial. It won't be, obviously, any gameplay. They'll have. They'll say that for Final Fantasy VII, but it'll be a tease, maybe a quick 15-second cinematic trailer that shows off, maybe the art direction. Again, if my prediction is right, then it'll be, more fantasy-based with a logo. Obviously no release year or anything like that. It'll be next gen, of course. But yeah, that's how I think that conference is gonna end.
I have a prediction that might be crazier than that one for Square Enix, that the redheaded stepchild Final Fantasy VIII is going to get an HD re-release on Switch or something.
They've done every single Final Fantasy for every platform except for 8. I like it. I like it.
I would love it because I honestly think, and I was thinking about this not too long ago, I think that 8 might be my favorite of the PlayStation 1 ones.
So divisive.
I don't think it's the best, but for some reason it's my favorite. What I heard, I don't know if you guys heard this, I heard that the reason that it hasn't been done yet is because of the song. They couldn't get the license.
Take the song out, man.
So is that there was something with the licensing agreement with that song that prevented them. And the other theory that I heard was that
big operatic song.
Yeah, so the one that where they have the actual no, not that one. The one that they actually had the vocal track, and it was sung by some famous Japanese singer, and that they couldn't get the license for that song back. The other theory that I heard, and it's kind of funny considering it's Square Enix, is that they actually lost the game file. that it somehow got that the entire
That,
game.
that would be very
Yeah,
strange.
that the entire game just somehow got wiped from a hard drive and that it's like lost forever. Yeah, that would be cool though.
Download it on Steam.
That would be cool.
Do you have anything?
No, you guys can keep going.
Okay, all right, sounds good. All right, Sean.
All right, another out there prediction is you've heard that George R. Martin and From Software are teaming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking since it's Microsoft's show, so I think they're going to announce that there, and it's either going to be an exclusive or a timed exclusive, maybe like a 6-month exclusive. I'm hoping everybody's hoping it's a Game of Thrones game. Actually, I read something recently that maybe it wasn't. That it's just going to be like another From Software crazy kind of.
Do you think it's going to be fantasy or?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like swords and
Okay.
sorcery type stuff. I hope it's Game of Thrones
Because I could see them going with George Railroad Martin.
That's like a match made in heaven.
I can-
From Software where you die
I
every 10
would-
seconds, and George R. R. Martin where a character dies every 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. I'm wondering if they would do something because they've done like the fantasy.
Right.
I don't know if they would do. I could see them. The only wild card is George R. Martin is obviously known for fantasy.
Right.
But I would be interested to have him go in like a brand new direction where it's like sci-fi.
Well, yeah, he does have sci-fi books called Wild Cards, in case you didn't know.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so
I think
maybe
it's actually being worked on by HBO or maybe one of the big networks. But yeah, who knows? I'm excited to see that game. I guess like the prediction that is that it's even announced at all, because maybe it's like 50-50 that it'll even show up at the show. But I think if it is announced, it's going to be an exclusive, timed exclusive for Xbox, because I think they're just throwing money at people because they want people back on the Xbox team.
Wow.
And they've been making like really, really good moves, really, really good strides to kind of bring the community back.
Well, I'm going to one up you on this one. It's similar, but it's not the same. My prediction, if you guys remember last E3, Microsoft, they ended up coming out and announcing that they had bought, I don't remember the number, but they had acquired
Yeah, they got like
a bunch of studios.
6 or 7 new studios.
I think they continue that trend, and they actually buy From Software
Uh-huh.
and make it a Microsoft exclusive, and George Railroad Martin's first game is going to be only playable on the Xbox platforms.
God, if they bought From Software, I mean, that's
Yeah.
the greatest E3. One of the greatest E3s.
Is that they take that from Sony and they make it and they bring it into the Microsoft fold, and it's Microsoft all the way from here on out with
Yeah,
them.
because the thing is, like, Microsoft has money to throw around that Sony doesn't. So if they want to scoop up these studios, this is a drop in the bucket for them.
Yeah.
And I know what is Obsidian? They just bought Obsidian not that long ago. But
Did they announce that game? Was it Outer Lands? Outer World?
Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Outer Lane. One of them just came. There was a game that was like Outer something that just came
I think
out.
that was
like Outer
Outer.
Wilds.
Maybe it's Outer Wilds.
And then their game's called Outer Worlds. Obsidian.
Yeah.
It's called Outer Worlds. I think that's still multi-plat. But I was thinking that they might announce their next game. I don't know.
Obsidian.
Yeah.
Didn't that already get announced? Isn't that the one? Outer
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about the next game.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. We'll see. Most of these are going to be wrong. But, yeah. You got to take a shot.
All right. Here's a safe prediction for me. So I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility. They've been kind of I don't remember. It was like a producer on, I think it was Division 2 actually.
Mm-hmm.
He made a joke about Splinter Cell and then he changed the profile picture. I think that to close out Ubisoft's conference, the lights go dark and all you hear is that whine for Sam's Fisher. Yeah, his headset like kicking on.
They're going to go crazy.
And
They're
yeah,
gonna go
I
crazy.
think that's how that conference ends. Is that I don't think there's anything else announced, maybe like more details coming soon. Maybe, at Gamescom in August or something. But
Yeah.
I think that, I think that would be the perfect way to end it. I mean, it's been since 2013. Since
Was
we
that
saw.
Splinter Cell Conviction?
No, that was Blacklist. Conviction
Oh.
was the one before that. So
Okay.
Blacklist was 2013.
I didn't play any of from 3. The only ones I ever played were like on the Xbox, like the
Mhm.
original
Yeah.
3. Other than that, I heard the last couple weren't very good. They kind of went away from
Yeah,
what made it Splinter Cell.
I think this is going to be like I could see it being like and we won't know this in the conference, but eventually I think it'll end up being a reboot. It'll probably just be called Splinter Cell. If anything, I could see the story being like Sam Fisher is retired. You play as like a new operative, but your commander is like Sam Fisher, and like he talks to you over like the comm, like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
something like that, or like he gives you the missions, and he's basically back at the base, and you're being sent out by his orders.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that would be a cool way, and like you said, I think that would like that Ubisoft conference,
Yeah.
that auditorium would go crazy.
Also, speaking of Ubisoft, is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
It's Ubi because it stands for ubiquitous software.
All right,
It was their original name, so.
not quite as catchy. But I think they're gonna show off some Beyond Good and Evil 2 gameplay.
I hope, man.
Because what they showed, I think was it supposed to be gameplay? Was that last E3?
I think it was like a tech demo in the
Right.
engine. I don't
God,
think
it looked good.
it does. My question for that is the same one that I had when EA announced they were doing a sequel to Mirror's Edge. Is that Beyond Good and Evil fan base is very passionate,
Very niche.
but it's very small, and like for the amount of time that they've been working on it, is it really going to be like a good investment for them? Because the same thing happened with Mirror's
I've never
Edge.
played.
Mirror's Edge was a very what's the word that I'm looking for? Not like an underground title, but it was well received, but it didn't sell super well. But the fan base was very passionate,
Yeah.
and so they listened to that fan base and they made a sequel that did even worse in sales. And then I think Mirror's Edge, I think that franchise is dead forever.
Me too.
I'm wondering if Beyond Good and Evil is going to be the same way because it was a cult classic. That was the term I was looking for.
I see.
And I feel like that is like the same route. Is that when it was originally announced, it was like they had this this groundswell of like support. But by the time it comes out, is it really going to like do anything? Is it really going to like make a splash?
I'll say yeah, because like something like Mirror's Edge, like the gameplay is very specific.
Yeah, first person parkour.
And like this, I'm thinking they're making it like an open world
Mhm.
RPG type thing, and that
Right.
is just going to appeal to everybody. Maybe not everybody's going to buy it, but it's already has a leg up.
Mhm.
You know, when it comes to like mainstream appeal, if has RPG elements, if it's open world, when people hear that, they are already interested.
I mean, it looks good. And
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see, if they have like actual gameplay
Uh-huh.
with, like not a tech demo, but like an actual on-stage demo that kind of shows off like the updated systems and like the world and things like that. I think it's time. I don't know how much longer they can hold on to this game and not show something.
Yeah.
It was announced however many years ago, 2015, 2016, and we've had very little information.
I'm sure a lot of people are like me, where they never even played the first game,
Mm-hmm.
but they saw like what Ubisoft was showing for the second game, the trailers and stuff like that, and it looks really interesting. And that's kind of like The Witcher for me, which I still haven't played. I barely played
I
the
played
third one.
30 hours of that game and I didn't even leave the first act.
It's so big, I was like overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I played 30
But I played
hours.
this
of that
first
game.
and second one like a lot.
Did you really?
Uh-huh. On 360.
I didn't know it was on 360. I
Yeah.
thought it was PC only.
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Unless I'm thinking of some other game.
No, I mean, I believe it. I thought it was
But,
PC only. Yeah, that's
But yeah, I don't know what my point was.
all right. My next one. So obviously Sony's not going to be at the conference. So typically, or at least in the last couple of years, with the exception of Devil May Cry 5, all of Capcom's announcements have been at the Sony conference. Since they're not there, I think that this announcement will come at the Microsoft conference. They've been on a roll lately with the RE engine specifically, with 7, the 2 remake, Devil May Cry 5, and they've been on a roll in general with, we were just talking about it, Monster Hunter World, and, I think that one of the games, and it's not going to be exclusive to Microsoft by any means, but I think one of the games that will be announced there is the first-person Resident Evil 8 that was talked about a year or 18 months ago, however long it was. It'll be more similar to RE7 than it is to the...
You think it will?
RE2 remake. I think there'll be more of a... that's the thing. I don't know if it'll be like zombies in the traditional sense, or if it'll be something a little more like it was in RE7. I think it will be announced. I don't think it'll be any significant information, probably just a cinematic trailer. I think it would be cool to see like an Easter egg to have like a familiar character come back, like from one of like the core franchise.
Bring back Chris Redfield.
Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine
was 5, and that one was alright.
Yeah. So I do think they'll stick with the first person. I don't think that's changed. Yeah, who knows like what the story is behind it or anything like that, but I think I think that would be a good thing to see at that conference.
More viruses, that's the story.
More. Just pick another letter in the alphabet.
Any other juicy ones?
For me?
How about this? Are they going to show Metroid Prime 4 at the Nintendo Direct?
I don't think they show it. I think and this was actually one of the predictions.
Scrapped the whole thing. How long ago was that? That was like
last year, or
7 months ago.
Yeah, something like that. They scrapped all of it, and then I think they restarted everything. So
I would like them to show it.
I think I would love them to show it. I think we have a better chance of getting and I think we will get a Prime Trilogy remaster announced and released this year, probably. Nintendo likes to release things in December for some reason. They don't really care about the holiday window like that. But I could see it coming out before the end of the year. 1080, up-res graphics.
I would definitely go back and play it. I only played, I think the first one.
I played the first, and I played the third one. I think the third one was on Wii. And I remember getting it because it was, the control scheme and everything was supposed to be more immersive. I don't remember playing the second one. The second one I think was Echoes. It was like Dark Samus or Dark World or something like that. I can't remember. But, I think they'll definitely announce that one. I don't know if we'll see Prime 4. Actually, no, I could see it. I could see them talking about... They come out on stage, or, not on stage, but they, in the Direct, they announce the Prime Trilogy, and then they have, like, a one more thing kind of moment, and then they have, like, Samus, whatever quick 15-minute or 15-second, like, snippet of, like, her updated character model, with more info coming soon or something. I could see that for sure.
Yeah. Now, what's the Pokemon game that is coming out?
Sword and Shield.
Yeah. I think I want them to announce, because they're supposed to be working on some big Pokemon game, like for the Switch. I don't know if it's going to be like an open world type deal, but I would like to see that. I know they're working on it. I don't know, but I feel it. They're working on something big for Pokemon. They just have to be. The Sword and Shield is not the only Pokemon game they're working on.
It might be.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Nintendo, for the most part, they don't like to announce games back like that overshadow each other like that in the same franchise. They typically wait for it to come out and then a little bit of breathing room and then announce the next one.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. I don't know if it'll happen.
Crazy E3 prediction.
So here's another one. So this one, I think that Microsoft will explicitly talk about Nintendo on their stage. So we have already seen Cuphead come over to Switch. We've seen Minecraft come over to Switch. I think that they will announce at the Microsoft conference that Nintendo will be a featured partner in getting Xbox Games Pass via their xCloud streaming.
That'd be cool.
And that you can play Xbox games on Switch.
That'd just be cool.
Day and date with Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I think that's a kind of a punch in the face to Sony, who has been very like standoffish when it comes to crossplay. Like they only did it with Fortnite because they had to, and they waited as long as they could.
Isn't the new Call of Duty crossplay though?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Right?
So what I heard, I think I was reading IGN what was that? Yeah, I think I read an IGN article that said that it was because there was a little bit of confusion. It was like it's crossplay between PC and consoles, which meant that like some people interpreted that as like they would have a server for PC and Xbox and then a separate server for PC and PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's clarified now that it's actually all three together. So
good.
So yeah, you can play online no matter like what platform you're playing on. I didn't think we would see that from a big game like that. You see it like with Rocket League had it on PS4 and PC, and then Fortnite had it. There are other smaller titles. Dauntless has it. I didn't think we were going to see that from like a big publisher. Because that just goes to show that like the next Division 3, or Destiny 3 or whatever, like there's no reason why they can't have like cross-play.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Unless somebody's just being stubborn and doesn't want it. The infrastructure's there.
Yeah.
Which is why Sony and Microsoft are teaming up to use their Azure servers anyways, because when Sony bought Gaikai, their servers just aren't built for
Right.
whatever's coming next in the gaming industry. Everything's faster and it's streaming, and Microsoft has the servers to do that. So I think it's really cool. That'd be cool if they teamed up with Nintendo.
Yeah, they've already been playing. I mean, they've been playing nice with each other. I think that they just take
Everybody's
it.
nice with Nintendo because it's Nintendo.
So you just take it to the next step, and again, like you were saying before, it just shows goodwill with the gamers. Like I said, they have Games Pass. It's what is it, $15 a month, I think.
Something like that. I don't have.
And you get like day and date, AAA new releases. Instead of paying $60 for it. They've been making a lot of, with crossplay, and they've been making a lot of like pro-consumer moves, whereas Sony hasn't, or at least they're not perceived as doing that. And so I think this is just like a knockout punch where like,
right.
Yeah, like you want to play our games, you want to play Halo and Gears and Forza anywhere, well, we're going to try to make that a little bit easier, and it's coming day and date to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, I mean, this is a discussion for another time, but it's like, at that point, is Microsoft just like a third-party publisher? Like, are they just, what I mean?
In a way,
So.
Yeah, I think that'll be cool. That'll be interesting to see where they go in the future, because moving their infrastructure to other platforms and stuff. More predictions. I don't know. When we were talking about Ubisoft, I was thinking like, and I just thought of this, wouldn't it be cool if it either was Splinter Cell or probably a franchise that I like even more than Splinter Cell? What if they showed off a new Prince of Persia?
I thought about that, and I was like, I really did. And I was like,
they gotta bring that
I
back
would love to see that. And right alongside that, I would love to see in the RE engine, Capcom bring back Onimusha.
Oh yeah, because they just released
the
remaster or the HD update, whatever you want to call it.
I would love to see these like franchises come back, because I do think more than even like Beyond Good and Evil 2, like those games have more of a following and more of a reason to come back.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Onimusha come back, and then I would love to see that.
They aren't they? Yeah, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I could have swore I read that they were what they did for Resident Evil 2. They're doing for Resident Evil 4.
I heard that too. I actually had a video. No, I didn't click on it because I didn't recognize the video or like the creator. But there was a YouTube. I got a YouTube notification from somebody that said E3 Capcom E3 plans leaked. RE3 remake confirmed.
Okay.
So I like I said, I think it wasn't like a reputable site or anything that was reporting on that, so I didn't check on it. I mean, I could see it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
the
the Resident Evil 2 remake did really good, so I could see them they're going to milk that. You know, everybody's kind of doing that, bringing back the old games and updating them. The biggest one, obviously, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Which is going to set the world on fire when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, dude. Anything else? Anything from Bethesda?
I thought about Bethesda and I was like, I don't know if I care enough to like.
I mean, they went on such a fucking, such a bad streak.
No, it's.
Will they just be like, hey, we're still working on Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield?
Well,
just to
I think
get people's good graces?
I think the only thing that they have to, not the only thing, but like one of the things they should do is they have to come out. Pete Hines has to come out on stage and be like,
my bad.
Like, yeah,
76.
yeah, like we fucked up Fallout 76, but here's all the reasons why we want you to come back, and almost like Destiny did again with Forsaken King, is that like, hey, here's like Fallout 76 2.0, where yeah, like this is the reason to get reinvested. You know, this is the reason to, you know, if you fell off at the beginning to turn it back on. But I mean, what else is there? There's the Wolfenstein game.
Yeah. Rage, which I think it was just published by Bethesda. I don't think it was actually created.
No, it was developed by id and
Yeah,
Avalanche, and yeah, it was published by them. I mean, I could see they'll have the Wolfenstein.
Is it New Colossus?
No, that's the one that came out a couple years ago. It's the one where you play the twin daughters.
Yeah.
BJ Blazkowicz, you play as his daughters, and you go on like a rescue mission to find them behind enemy lines. It sounds cool. I like the other Wolfenstein games. I played them all.
Yeah, I played the first one. I didn't play New Colossus, but
yeah, there's New Colossus and the Old Blood, and I don't know what this one's called. I can't remember. But anyway, they'll have that. They'll have the new Doom Eternal will be there, of course.
I still need to play that because I heard it was like one of the greatest.
It was fun. I never beat it.
shooters.
I played, I would imagine, probably half of it. I played for probably 4 or 5 hours. I don't know how long the game is, but it was fun. I mean, it's one of those, you just don't stop moving.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's not obviously like a duck and cover. You just run around the room as fast as you can and just keep shooting. What else? Bethesda.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, like I said, they've already, if they're telling the truth, they've already said that Elder Scrolls and Starfield won't be there, which I think that is true. Because they announced that game so early that I don't think they had any, I don't even think they're really working on it. I really don't. Like, I don't think that.
I'm sure all they have is maybe just artists working on it.
Yeah.
But I don't, there's no
Pre-production.
development
No,
going
no,
on
no.
yet.
No, yeah.
Now, is Starfield, is that earlier in the lineup? Is that going to be released
Starfield is
supposedly?
Starfield is technically, supposedly going to be released first.
Okay. That's what I thought, because I thought, like, Elder Scrolls 6 was, like, still, like, 4 or 5 years away. Something like
I don't
that.
expect that until probably 2024. Something like that.
That's on that old Final Fantasy versus 13 schedule.
22, yeah, it's 5 years from now.
Every year.
Like, I don't see that game coming out anytime soon. What is it? Nintendo, Bethesda. I mean, that's it. Sony's not going to be there. EA.
So, since it's Microsoft's show pretty much, how are they going to come away from this E3? Are they going to win back a lot of people and a lot of gamers?
I think they will, and I think that they've been making a lot of pro-consumer moves. They really have. I think that this is only going to, further the distance between them and Sony. especially if Sony, because the rumors for them is that they are not going to announce the next PlayStation until February. Similar to what they did with PS4, they announced it in February of the year that it came out. I think it was February 2013. Has it been that long? 2014 maybe? But anyway, so basically they would announce it in February of 2020 and then have it released that fall. I think that Microsoft would be smart to announce it obviously at E3, save the details as far as like the price and the number of SKUs, because you would imagine they would have like a pro version and then like a base model.
I think they had like a streaming version.
Yeah, and then
something like
that.
that.
And so they would save all that for like a separate press conference, and I think they would be smart to announce it by this time next year, if not sooner.
Yeah.
That way they have the 6 or 8 months of where they own the next generation.
Right.
Like if you want to play the next generation of, you can play, Resident Evil 8 on PS4, or if you want to play like the new version with ray tracing and HDR plus and all of that, like true 4K, like you only can play it here. And they, if they release it by next spring, then that leaves them all the time in the world to get that momentum. And then just by default, Sony's playing catch up right out of the gate.
Which is what you want, because if you're Microsoft, because Sony kind of killed it this generation.
They did. And it's not even that Microsoft did bad, because it's still outselling the 360. It's just that PS4 is doing so well that it makes Microsoft look bad by comparison.
And a lot of Microsoft's ideas were a little too ahead of its time. We're all kind of moving towards that always online streaming service anyways, which is what they were introducing when it first came out. Nobody was biting on it back then.
Yeah.
But it's kind of moving in that direction.
Yeah, I agree.
Not that the next Xbox is going to be like always online. I don't think they're going to do that again, but
no, I don't
there's
either,
just an idea that was a little too soon, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that as long as they nail it, which by all accounts they will, again, they're not competing with anyone really. Nintendo will have their announcements, but it's not going to be a banner year for Nintendo. They're not announcing a new hardware or, like the Switch 2 or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, really...
The Switch still sells really good. I don't think they're going to...
I think that, with a big hardware announcement, like, by default, they are going to own E3.
Yeah.
My last prediction, actually, now that I think about it, is that the next Xbox will just be called the Xbox. I think that they're going to drop, because I don't know if they're... Can you call it Xbox 2 versus PS5? You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds dumb. But, like, if you just... Because that's what everybody calls it anyways.
Right, it's just Xbox.
It's just Xbox, so just call it the Xbox.
Right.
And then, you don't have to play the numbers game with Sony. But yeah, as long as they do that, they announce some cool games, Master Chief. Halo Infinite will be there.
So we didn't even talk about Halo. I hope they show something from Halo.
Well, if it's a 2 hour conference, then I don't think that you can't have like a big gameplay reveal of Halo Infinite. Chances are you'll have it on Xbox One X and the next gen. You know what I mean? They'll have that cross-platform or cross-generational, cross-gen, announcement. Gears is going to be there. Fable is rumored to be rebooted. Probably just call it Fable. Maybe Forza. They do have like a lot of games that they could show. And even smaller titles like Ori and the Blind Forest.
I need to play that.
Or like that's not the name of the sequel, but the Ori sequel.
Will of the
Wisps. Yeah. And some smaller titles like that. As long as they nailed that, and it sounds like they will, then I don't think there's any reason or any way that they couldn't, come away the clear winners.
Right.
So.
So is there one game that you're just hyped to see at E3 more than any other?
Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah,
It's
Final Fantasy 7 for me.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be that. I think. Even though we know, I mean, it's not like it's an unknown.
I would
quantity.
say Final Fantasy 7, just because I know they're going to be showing a lot of it, but mine's still the new Fable.
Fable.
I'm just too excited for that, and I need Fable in my life. So that's my one game I'm very excited to see announced.
I would love to see that announced. Out of the games that we know are going to be there.
Right.
It's-
We
yeah.
don't even know if Fable's going to be there, but I think it would be stupid not to at least announce it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's got to be 7, the 7 remake. It's just such a big game. And they've been talking about it for freaking ever. And it's been rumored since... Do you guys remember that story? I don't know if you guys remember. It was actually... it was RPGgamer.com or RPGgame.com or something. They had a story back in like 2001, 2002, before Final Fantasy X came out. And there was a rumor that Square was planning on remaking 7, 8, and 9 that far back.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
And,
I don't remember that.
I don't remember it, but it wouldn't surprise
but
me.
yeah, and it's so this has been 15, 20 years in the making.
Yeah.
And to see it actually come out is going to be really cool. I just hope that they don't... I really hope that, because like I said, I think January is going to be a good time for them. That's when they release Kingdom Hearts. I think they saw, other than Resident Evil 2, there wasn't like a ton of like big hitters right after the holiday season. So I think that if, that would be a good time for them. It's going to sell millions regardless.
What, 7?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's going to sell at least 10 million units. I mean, the first one did.
Yeah, between all the SKUs, all the different platforms, yeah.
That was just a Sony exclusive back then, so.
Yeah, I think that it's... Yeah. Did you guys see the... I was on Reddit like a week or two ago, and they said that there's going to be updates to the materia system. They didn't like...
I hope so.
There's going to be updates to the materia system. They're introducing...
I hope it's more in depth.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Yeah, and there's going to be a new summon introduced.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like a giant wolf or
yeah.
something.
And that Yuffie and Vincent are no longer side characters.
Yeah,
They're going to be part of the main plot. What else? That was about it. Yeah, and then it'll be 2 episodes, $60 for each episode. Yeah, man. Like I said, if we can get one, hopefully January 2020, and then I would love to see the second episode by, January or by the end of the spring 2021. If they have most of the assets done, hopefully.
right. It should be smooth sailing
It
for
should-
the second one.
Hopefully they'll
I
have
think. But I swear.
Right.
Yeah, like, release the first and second episode 12 or 18 months apart. I think that would be cool.
So what do you think we'll be seeing for 7 at E3?
I think they
I
will.
think they're going to show off like an actual like start to finish area and like what you can do. They're definitely going to be like, okay, this is how you guys remember it, and this is what you can do now. Maybe you can go talk to somebody else and get a side mission or something that wasn't there before. Because
Do you think
linear.
do you think Midgar, they'll show Midgar being like an open area so you can tackle it in whatever order you want to, or
Ooh, maybe.
That's
That'd be
interesting.
a really cool kind of.
That's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know exactly what we're going to see. They have to show something besides Midgar. They've shown Midgar.
which brings me to my biggest question: how are they going to do the world in the world map? Because that's an integral part of the original Final Fantasy with the vehicles
I want there to be a
and
world.
chocobo breeding.
I think they still do the world map. I think it looks like...
No matter how I imagine it, they have to, because
Yeah.
the world map is a big part where you're fighting the Emerald or Ruby or Ultimate
Right.
Weapon at the end, or you're on chocobo tracks
Yeah.
hunting down chocobos or like on the tiny Bronco or the highway.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's not a world map. I imagine that it would be something like, I mean, I don't even know what to
I think
compare it
Final
to.
Fantasy 9 was the last time they had a true world map. 10 was linear.
10 was very linear.
12 was
They had open
linear.
areas, but it was all hubs. It was all connected to hubs.
15 was just you could
It was
drive.
just like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I could see it.
And then 13 was the most linear game ever.
It was just a giant hallway for 30 hours. So yeah, they have to have the world map, but I think that they're gonna have like a gameplay demo, and I think they have to show something aside, because all we've seen since it was revealed as a 7 remake was the opening area.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they haven't shown anything else. I think that
they're gonna pick something to show. If they do show something besides Midgar that's like real,
I think
graphically pretty.
I think if they decide to show something besides Midgar, a good thing to show would be the flashback sequence
that could be
with
cool.
Sephiroth and Cloud and Nibelheim.
I was
Fire.
thinking like Cosmo Canyon would be like a
What
real
about
good.
Golden Saucer?
I heard they're gonna make the Golden Saucer crazy.
Yeah.
I heard
They
they're
need
like
to
all
add
kinds of
more.
new mini games.
Yeah, they need to add more mini games and.
So I think that they'll have like a cinematic trailer featuring not a new, but like a different area of the game. But I think that at the very end, we'll get like a sizzle reel of all of the different areas of the game. You know what I mean? Like, it'll kind of like the soundtrack will be playing in the ground, probably like the overworld or like the world map theme.
You're right.
Something like that, and then they'll just have like a bunch of clips like spliced together showing like Midgard, and then maybe like the Ruby Weapon and Sephiroth and Cosmo Canyon and Golden Saucer and the airship and all these different parts of the game. And then it kind of fades black. It goes down. It fades black. I think they'll probably like the last shot will be Cloud laying her into the water. Spoilers again for a 20-year-old game. And
somebody out there.
Somebody's gonna be
like,
pissed.
what?
Well, there's
laying goo in the water.
You gotta think now, like, the game came out 22 years ago. Like, there are people that are gonna play this game that
Have never.
were
They
never,
haven't been alive.
they weren't even born then.
But it's like it's like
But
if you
it's-
play video games and
you
you're a
have to
person
know.
that is thinking about picking up Final Fantasy VII, like her dying is just like it's part of the pop culture of just video games.
Yeah.
This is one of those it moments in video games that everybody kind of knows about. So
Yeah, so
if you don't know by now, I'm sorry. I can
Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I could see them, like, that was like the final scene. It kind of lingers on her, like, going into the water, and then it fades to black, and then they have like January 2020
Right.
come across the screen, and then demo available now.
Oh, they had that
Dude.
demo. You remember the original Final Fantasy VII demo? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I remember there was one. There was one, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
And I remember
It was like
Was it Wall Market?
No, I don't think it was that. Now that I think about it, I think I remember the Final Fantasy VIII demo. Because that came out,
I remember the phone.
that came out with Brave Fencer Musashi. Yeah, that was the only reason I played that game, was to get the Final Fantasy VIII demo. Man, yeah. Actually, kind of, speaking about old games, how crazy would it be at Microsoft's conference, for Konami to announce a new Metal Gear?
Metal Gear Plinko.
Yeah, exactly. They really don't have a reason to, but I don't think they can just sit on this IP.
No.
Because there are rumors that they were going to do, like, a from the ground up Resident Evil 2 style remake of the original. Where,
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No.
But
and the Fox engine.
if they got the team behind them to pull it off, it's just what is Konami without Kojima? You know what I mean? So they would really have to bring their A game.
Metal Gear Solid 4 was being unveiled, and then they showed
Moses Island.
Moses Island,
Oh yeah.
and everybody's like, "Oh, are we going to get a remake?" And then you just find out that it's actually part of the game, and you go back there, and you have on like a mask that makes them look younger again.
Yeah, but Konami, they're not going to do that. They won't even be there, but that would be cool if they did, if like something crazy like that happened.
Yeah.
Or even if it was like, Metal Gear, what is it, 6 at this point, but who knows what the story would be.
Metal Gear Zombies.
Yeah.
I didn't see the point of that game.
That's just trying to milk it, and they failed miserably. Because I think it didn't even sell like 200,000 units. I don't think.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's nuts, but
nobody was asking for
Metal
Metal
Gear
Gear
Zombie
Zombie
game.
game.
You guys got anything else? Is that about it?
Not really, man. I'm just excited. I'm ready for it.
All right, guys. Well, that was our episode of E3 predictions and discussions. Please let us know what you guys thought. If you guys have any theories or predictions of your own, leave it in the comments below. Again, please give us a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, give us a thumbs up anyway. Hit the subscribe button, please. Tell a friend about it. And you can find this, again, episode as youtube.com/SavePointVids. And until next time, you guys stay safe.